Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the Day After podcast and the finale of our fun little sub-show side series, LYNCHPIN, where we have endeavored and failed to watch every David Lynch film in chronological order. My name is John, and I'm here for the last time with Mike.
We did it!
Sort of.
Kinda.
And later down the line, we're going to rank each of the 9 David Lynch films that we saw. But first, for a little bit, we're going to talk about the 9th place out of 9 entries.
Oh, yeah.
David Lynch's final film, Inland Empire, which premiered in 2006, and now is kind of hard to get a copy of.
I wonder why.
I have tried. Do you know how hard it is to walk out of a film in your own house? I tried it, guys. There have been movies that I've hated. I despise Juno, but I don't know Diablo Cody. I don't know these people. There have been terrible, terrible movies like Creep, where I can get it on Netflix and then just leave it because I hate whoever made this. This man made Eraserhead. This man made The Straight Story.
That's shocking about that.
That's what's upsetting. This man made this movie over the course of a long period of time with an incomplete script where he would write several pages and just say, here you go, we're gonna do this today. And that may seem eccentric, so eccentric. I was the maddest I think I've ever been at a movie. Eccentric.
That can be done, by the way, but it just wasn't done this time.
They made that. It's called Boyhood. Oh boy. No. Okay.
Yeah, I think the added fact that this guy can make good, even great movies, and then this was his swan song, like pisses me off.
It is really upset. Like, okay, Stanley Kubrick, we're going to make movies where when you rank them, you're like, Clockwork Orange isn't my 5th least favorite, it's my 9th favorite. None of the movies past this point are bad by any means. This, it's a frustrating watch. More than that, it confirmed our deepest, darkest suspicion. It's an hour and another hour, and a third hour, I am told. David Lynch cannot use his time effectively.
And, okay, just to explicitly say this, we gave this movie an hour and 40 minutes.
We gave this movie 100 out of 180 minutes.
Some of you guys may be saying, well, that's not fair. I disagree. If you watch 100 minutes of a movie, and not once were you entertained, not once did you find anything interesting, you were confused the entire time, you felt like you were wasting your time, I think we have the right to walk out.
It just feels like we've had like, go watch our My Hero Academia podcast. It is I'm connecting this, I promise. It's the only time my wife has agreed with the sentiment, you have to keep watching, it gets good after.
Yeah.
And with My Hero Academia, they said, starting in season 2, it becomes really good. And my wife was like, I'm blown away. They were correct. Usually statements like that are a piece of shit. Mm-hmm. There's that How I Met Your Mother joke where Ted finds out that Robin doesn't like Field of Dreams, one of his favorite movies. He's like, the end scene is classic where he's playing baseball with his dad. Well, maybe they should have put that scene a little closer to the beginning of the movie. After an hour, I'm like, if this could pick up and become No Country for Old Men for 2 hours, and I would still wonder what's doing that. Okay, so Eraserhead is like I don't know how long, like 70 minutes of
about that, yeah,
of crazy but interesting and good.
Yeah,
this is 3 hours of borderline bad.
It felt like it's astonishing because, as you've said, Eraserhead is known as one of the greatest college or student films ever made.
The most famous student art film ever made.
And then he ends his career with something that feels like an overblown or bloated student film. This feels like it was done by a 20-year-old who did not fuck to do what he was doing.
Because on purpose they use standard definition TV cam. On purpose. The year is 2006, David Keith Lynch. I shouted so many obscenities. Yeah, it's like that kid you're disappointed at. He could have gone to Yale. Now he fucking works at Kink. That's really disrespectful. the lighting is the fucking worst I have ever seen, and it really is.
But it's fine because they make note of it, and they make.
I tried to actually. Usually I'm playful. I tried to actually hurt you there. It's coming down. I really apologize. You can hit me out. You can hit me later. When we watched the mole.
No, because you know what? That statement deserved it.
Okay.
And I suffer for you. Okay.
It's severe.
You feel better now?
I do. The statement is severely ironic because there's a scene where they can't get the lighting guy to do what they want. Just put it up 2 feet, Bucky. Put it up 2 feet. He goes, I got a cramp. That cramp guy is played by the director David Keith Lynch. I'm not going to use your first and last name. You need to know what you did. It's like a kid.
And that tiny little 30-second joke makes the rest of this movie that looks like shit worth it.
Yeah. This is a tragic movie because Laura Dern gives a fantastic performance.
That's the only time, when Laura Dern is kind of has these moments where she's in this interrogation room and she's just and she's talking.
She gives conventional scenes.
Yeah, that's the only time where I kind of perk up and go, something happening?
Yeah, we got distracted. Somebody defend this movie. I always said one of the worst things a movie can do is remind me I could be watching this movie. There's one thing worse is you being reminded I could be watching other movies by this same guy.
I've never had this moment where not only does this movie make me go, I want to be watching better movies. Those better movies are not even necessarily great movies, which is usually what that feeling is.
That's like me. I'm the world's biggest fan of Jumanji. That's not even my favorite movie. They're not even great.
There were other David Lynch movies that I'm not the biggest fan of that I went, I would rather be watching that scene.
And you even drew... we're going to shit on David later. I wanted to give this as much benefit as I could. And, whenever I softened up on a movie I didn't like at first, it's because there was something worse after it. And I don't want this movie to exist because I know there are going to be some people that point at Inland Empire and say, see, David's a piece of shit. No, he's not. He made 4 or 5 phenomenally interesting films.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that he did that. And some people might be sad that, his career ended willfully in 2006. I think just appreciate what you had. Maybe, if you want to put it away. There's an interview he gave where he said, you know what? My movies weren't taking in as much box office, and I was looking at what was taking in box office, and I said I didn't want to make those movies. So I think I'd rather retire and read the news, read the weather report on my YouTube channel.
Okay, and if that was the writing on the wall, and the only thing that was left was Inland Empire.
This is kind of his fuck you movie, isn't it? He writes whatever the hell he wants because he knows he's not coming back.
But why did he have to take everyone with him? What did Jeremy Irons do to him?
I didn't know there was Jeremy Irons until I heard him talk. This is I don't recommend it, guys. You guys will be like, oh, how bad is it? No, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time, but it's a waste of a lot of your time.
Yeah.
If it were an incomprehensible 90 minutes, I could deal. We would have made it through the movie. We watched 100 minutes. I'm not gonna say I'll agree with you one bit, but if you have anything, if you want to play any kind of devil's advocate with us, bring the comments on. I would love to hear them. I got to you described this 50-minute short film about rabbits that David made and has cut pieces of into the movie. Mm-hmm. And I swear,
you more interested in rabbits.
I swear to God, the rabbits come back halfway through the movie, and I said, "Oh, thank God, the rabbits!" That actually left my mouth. I would rather watch that.
And by the way, the 50 minutes, they never leave that shot.
I guarantee it. I accepted that. I accepted that. I don't have anything else I want to say about that movie, or I'm going to hit you again.
Here's the thing. I could say more critical things about Inland Empire, but it is such a waste of my time. I don't want to give it that.
Okay, yeah, that's 10 minutes, okay? That we're gonna move on now. That was 9th place out of 9 in our David Lynch marathon. We're gonna go rank up slowly into our favorite David Lynch film, because this was
a nice transition.
There's a lot of really interesting. We had to break a lot of ties because David has a lot of floaty in the gray middle section movies that you have trouble kind of sorting, and it was fun to kind of look back. So here goes a ranking video. This hurt me. At number 8 is, well, it didn't hurt me. What the hell am I saying? Number 8 is Dune.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And to transfer from Inland Empire to Dune, both of those movies are pieces of shit. Mm-hmm. However, Dune is a fascinating failure that you can gather your friends along, and maybe some of them are film students and they want to know, like, what's the process of making very big blockbuster action-packed movies and what can go wrong, and just sit back and have some fun, because that is a piece of shit, but it's fun to look at.
It honestly is a stars aligned, everything failed at once. Hearing that movie is, I think, like 2.5 hours or something, and there's like 50 extra minutes of deleted scenes.
And
the book adaptation, they say that it skipped over stuff. I'm like, what else did you skip over?
How can you be that clogged with shit and still not be faithful to your source material?
You're bloated. You have 3 interrupted because the lady leaves the screen and comes back, minutes of exposition at the top of it. There's a cargo scene driving to the Spice World. That's a movie. And it's being toppled over by the weight imbalance of, what was it? Not Anthony Hopkins, Ian McKellen, and that one other, and Max von Sydow on one side of the screen.
Patrick Stewart and Max
von Sydow on one side of the screen. It's like, what are you doing here? You didn't use your talent well. The graphics suck. A lot of the deliveries are fucking fever dreams.
It's and just, God, this script is a piece of shit. The acting, like, you make good actors
say bad things.
It's horrible shit. Like, oh, look, this scuba suit filters your piss.
That screams Waterworld. That got me excited.
And it's also it's blatantly insulting to your intelligence, constantly explaining things.
It's the first. Yeah, fuck that. It's the first sign that I knew that David had like an attention span problem. Not David himself, but his critical eye, his narrative eye, had an attention span problem, because when this movie premiered, they had to give out pamphlets summarizing the plot. That's not okay.
That doesn't happen with Inland Empire.
That's not even the first thing. That's not even all the movies that do that. He will do that in one form or another elsewhere. Right next to Dune. Just a little bit better. We had a fight. Number 7 was Lost Highway, and we had to have that time, because if you're talking about objective or subjective quality, Dune blows it out of the water for all the wrong reasons.
Yes, it is fascinating to watch its failure. Lost Highway is boring. There's nothing. I don't want to watch it again. A year or two from now, I would watch Dune again.
I would. I definitely would.
But I think the reason why I put Lost Highway above Dune is, I think you could objectively say it's a better composed movie.
Right. Yeah.
But secondly, if you came to me and with the argument that Lost Highway is a good movie, and let me tell you why,
I would hear you out.
Yes. I'm open to that discussion.
But
for Dune.
If a Dune superfan came in and said, well, let me explain all this stuff in the book that they didn't get. No, you don't get to go back into the source material to make this story. We're talking about this story.
Yes.
And this story feels bloated despite having cut an hour of footage.
Yeah.
Not acceptable. Whew, okay.
Yeah, any defense of Dune, you are deluding yourself. With Lost Highway, I'm open.
I'm open to they wouldn't be argument. They wouldn't be good arguments, but they'd be arguments. Okay, after that extremely close tie, the penultimate movie he made is the one that I knew about before even knowing what David Lynch looked like or what he was. It was 2001's Mulholland Drive.
And this may shock some people, because usually this is one of his...
Yeah.
This is what usually on the top 3. I'll say this. I do like Mulholland Drive, but I think it's overrated.
It has fantastically interesting sequences. The one I can think of being, the girl who sings, and
the
then
Silencio.
The Silencio. That's a fantastic scene that gets it's like a magic trick. It tells you I'm gonna make this coin disappear, and then when the coin disappears, you're still shocked.
Yeah.
They tell you that everything you're hearing is pre-recorded, and when the woman dies, you're still like, what? It's still affecting. It's like a well-performed magic trick. The other one is the really well choreographed jump scare without a scare cord when you see that homeless woman behind the Denny's or whatever.
Yes.
That was really a lot of really good scenes that become indicative of his overall career.
And this Mulholland Drive may have the same problem that one of the other ones will have, and I think when you bring it up, I'll admit, it deserves it, is that its parts are greater than the whole.
There are standout scenes that are fantastic, and you can go look these scenes up in full on YouTube, but when it tries to connect a story, it becomes a little muddled.
When you have to watch Mulholland Drive from start to finish, and you find yourself waiting for these great scenes, but then you have to wade through some mediocre stuff. And I mean, there's a lot of that in Mulholland Drive.
Yeah. Oh, there's quite a bit of that. We'll move on. Dead Middle. Very interesting. Late 70s, I think. This is The Elephant Man with Anthony Hopkins before he was mega famous.
Ah, yes.
It just
I feel bad that it's in the middle, because it is a good movie.
I gave it 3rd. You put it at 6.
I feel bad because it's okay. Yes, I guess I have to defend myself because it's probably undefensibly low in my ranking.
It's a little Oscar baity maybe. Before that was a word.
Nothing in it surprises me.
I don't have to explain myself. You maybe are the one that needs to do that.
I watched it and I was entertained, but I got exactly what I thought I was going to get.
No more,
no less.
Still good. I mean, it had the interesting idea that David, I feel like a carnival freak show is a phenomenal way, like everybody knows what a freak show is, even if you haven't seen one, you know what the topic is, to explain David's fascination with things that will become like well known for his style, namely deformations of the face and of the body. He likes those, and that's a great way to, you can see that he can take those scary ideas that are close to his heart and still make a good movie that conventionally flows.
I guess I find that the prospect of rewatching Elephant Man, I have to say, I don't feel like there's much to explore in that movie.
Not at least in the storytelling way.
It's exactly what it looks like. You get it on the first swipe through, and it goes down easy. It was entertaining, yes. I just don't really have any drive to see it again.
But if it's on, I will watch it. It's a TBS special to end all TBS. That's not a TBS. A made for TV thing. If it's on, I will absolutely watch it.
And I would recommend it to people.
And
watch it.
Because it was in the era of black and white film, it was shot for black and white. Even if it was in the age of color film, which it was.
Definitely
now
was.
That I say that. You could tell when a black and white movie was shot with the intention of being black and white.
Oh, yes.
And when a film was shot in color and then converted to monochrome, because you have to make lighting and color considerations to make that look good. And like his previous premiere film, Eraserhead, everything feels like a textured painting for the blind. Like he could rub your hands on it. Mm-hmm. And that felt really good. And Anthony Hopkins and John Hurt, Elephant Man.
Yes.
Okay. He did a great job. They both did fantastic. Yeah. I like David. You hit a home dunk on people. And, that you really hit the jackpot on actors.
And maybe that's what. Okay, the one thing. Maybe that's the thing. The one thing that I expected more out of that movie is those actors are of so high caliber. They can give more than a blunt Oscar bait performance. They can. And there are glimmers with some subtlety and complexity in that movie that just kind of peek out. Mm-hmm. But then we have to see, then like your complaint about the movie was, oh, man is the evil thing comes out. And there's a little too much of that. And I know that cast can give a subtler performance.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, okay. You know their subtlety is there. What I really like is you brought this up, and I had never experienced this, but maybe you've seen several other movies that do this. This idea that the creative is the monster is an allegory for the creative. Like nobody understands the artist.
The freak.
That's kind of neat. I understand if it might be overdone if you've seen a couple of more times from different places, but I think that's really neat. We get into another really close one. I'm really sorry, Nicolas Cage. You've made 100 movies. This is like your first dozen. This is Wild at Heart with Nicolas Cage and the second film by Laura Dern. This is a movie that I got too invested. It's my first girlfriend. I got invested too fast, and it burnt out. And that is at the top of the movie, Nicolas Cage getting into a knife fight outside of an Orpheum Theater. And this movie has style and substance and individuality and personal choice. And it's really kind of a wild trip. And I think that the fact that Nicolas Cage is here, Nicolas Cage doesn't save your movie. This movie has cool things going on.
Yeah.
This really saccharine Southwest America tale. It just screams. We had that talk about the Killers and their really schmaltzy Americana vibe. And that's what this had.
Yeah. And okay, to that point, this movie has more than just Nicolas Cage. There are some really
That's the best part.
scenes.
This isn't a Nicolas Cage show. You don't go with the intention of watching Nick.
He helps.
Yeah.
This is one of there's a lot of bad Nicolas Cage movies. I think this is one of the good ones.
Yeah, he made 100 movies. He's given it his best shot.
And there are really striking scenes and performances that stick in my memory. The scene with Daniel Defoe and Laura Dern where the
rape scene that rapes the audience. That's well done.
That's the one of Lynch's many car crash scenes.
Ooh, so good.
Where the girl just starts stumbling with some brain sticking out of her head. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
And of course, all this stuff we've been talking about, where these Cage freak out scenes, which are kind of lovable. The chemistry between Cage's character and Dern's character when they're like freaking out and dancing in the desert, that was fun. And
more than that, just Nicolas Cage's chemistry with David Lynch. He got this movie because they both go to the same diner, and he was like, "I have a movie, Nick. You have to read the script." He's like, "I want it, but I have to wear my snakeskin jacket, which I own and is in my closet." It was earnest, and it was weird, but it was earnest. That was very, 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 very close to number 4, the quintessential David Lynch noir film, Blue Velvet.
Ah, yes.
In the bronze medal. It start to finish, I don't remember anything stand out, but it had that feel. It had that feel of quiet darkness, like we're in too deep, but it never tried to be melancholy or have a false sense of action.
And for me, I have the exact reverse. And I only remember like the standout things of this movie. In my personal list, Blue Velvet is number 2. There are giant chunks of this movie that haunt me. The scene with when Frank is doing his little breathing fetish thing between the lady's legs as the main character is watching them from the closet. The scene where they bring him out to that gangster's house with the deals drugs, I'm guessing, and he sings like candy colored Sandman with the light bulb in his face.
Yeah. There are scenes that feel like you should not be watching this, and when it brings the audience into that sense of unease, like I'm now in a participant observer.
Yeah,
I'm complicit. I'm a complicit observer. That freaks me out. And David can make a good scary movie, which is why the end of this list will shock you.
And that scene where out of nowhere, the main character, I forget what the characters in this movie besides Frank kind of they dissolve. I don't really remember their names.
That's fair.
When the main character is bringing Laura Dern home from the dance, and then the dancer walks out of the back into the front lawn, and she's naked and covered in bruises.
Yeah, yeah.
Like talk about like I feel like I shouldn't be watching this. This is too vulnerable. I'm uncomfortable. This quality of this movie creeps me out, and I think Blue Velvet is David's best balance of his use of noir crime and surrealist dream. where none of them overdo each other.
Mm-hmm.
None of them takes over the other, and they each get enough of their time. Although I will admit, yeah, the noir crime, the as I've talked about before in the review, the suburban reality is that movie's weak spot.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And when you, like I said before with Mulholland Drive, when I'm watching Blue Velvet, I am waiting for the intense, shocking scenes. And then I remember, oh yeah, there's these other parts of this movie that I find really boring.
That's fair. Even the classics like James A. Janice's review upcoming for he's redoing the Friday the 13th kill counts.
Mm-hmm.
And in his trailer, he's like, come back and remember how weirdly boring this movie is between kills for such a classic.
Yes.
There are people. It's okay. We appreciate what you've done. Silver medal goes to the original Eraserhead long ago. The most famous student art film ever made. After watching Inland Empire, it's short. It's really short. And it's wild and it's gross and you don't know what you're watching, but it's short. And it's good. And it's black and white. And when they have this creature design, this prosthetic shit, it's not even, you don't even get an insert shot of it. It's way in the background in somebody's swaddled clothes.
Yes.
And there's a man on the moon and this lady with a crater face. It's got all the hallmarks of what David likes in his movies that he makes.
I'm along for the ride. I'm having fun. Cool. I want to feel this. Let's drag my face up against this grainy black and white footage. Oh yes.
Really?
But unlike something with like Inland Empire, it's frustratingly incomprehensible.
Like this is in your face incomprehensible, but like Inland Empire has it's like being in a really bad hangover. You have swaths of where you'll go into like, oh, this is a conventional scene, rabbits.
Yes.
Like it doesn't go hard in the paint like Eraserhead does, and that's why Eraserhead gets the silver medal instead of the 9 medal. It's jarringly upsetting, gross to look at. Everybody's giving a performance that makes me think I'm having a fever dream.
Yes.
Very well done.
Yes.
Very, very good opening pitch, but weirdly, our favorite movie between the two of us is the only one David didn't write.
It's the least Lynchian movie.
Walt Disney and David Lynch bring you The Straight Story.
Like, wow, this came out of left field.
What the hell is this? I know exactly what it is, and it's so cute. It's Alexander Payne's Nebraska, and you would not be able to tell that this was a David Lynch film. I mean, there are hints.
There's a couple hints.
There's a couple hints, but
and to the okay, you keep going.
No, you go.
I just wanted to say, like, to the Lynch purists who are going like, oh, of course you picked Straight Story. Fuck off. This is a beautiful movie.
Yeah, it is.
This is gorgeous, and I think it's Lynch. It's probably one of the most challenging films he made because he's fighting his own tendencies.
Right, and he got to make this thing he didn't write while putting his style in, but not letting his style be so incomprehensibly intrusive. And
I love this about The Straight Story. When Lynch's style does pop up, it doesn't piss me off. I like it. It's those nuggets of Lynch-isms in The Straight Story. They fit wonderfully.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's really good, actually. Especially that car crash scene with the deer.
That's
fantastic.
It fits. It's wild. But then we go back to this really sweet story about his brother with cancer. Yes. He's such a genuine person, and they really nailed this sense of genuine Midwestern kindness in a way that The Blind Side fucking falls on its ass. That whole review, if you'd like to go watch it, is us shitting on The Blind Side.
And it treats parts of life with respect, dignity, and beauty that all the other movies in his filmography doesn't even come close to. Human kindness, love, just the sense of wonder and beauty and appreciation. For those of you who like prefer the weird, creepy, oh, that's kind of strange nightmare stuff. Okay, I get it. but those qualities of life exist too, and they're important.
Mm-hmm. You did say in one of the reviews, I'm not going to go look for it, that David, like Stanley, have trouble making interpersonal relationships.
I said that many times.
You said, yeah, you did. Stanley got really lucky with Eyes Wide Shut. David Lynch still can't quite do it.
Yeah.
And this is one time where he got severely lucky. There's no strings attached. It's just like, it's not even a saccharine or an Oscar baity kind of movie, because this came out in very, very few theaters, but everybody that managed to see it said, that was really good. Oh, everybody made that noise. Oh, that was good. Oh.
With this journey that we've made, okay, there's a lot of stinkers, but I'm glad we had it because I got to see the straight story, and I want to recommend it to more people.
I want to recommend, yeah, if anything, okay, we had this thing where you like draw a line over movies that you think are unequivocally good. I will draw the line under Eraserhead. I think there's only 2 that I really super like. More of them are interesting. I'd say I watch everything up till Mulholland Drive.
Yeah. I think for me, it's Straight Story, Blue Velvet. I think, Eraserhead. Maybe, I think I put Wild at Heart above Eraserhead, but I think you've convinced me. No, it's Straight Story, Blue Velvet, and Eraserhead for me.
Yeah, all right.
Which probably just fucked up the ordering that you had.
No. This is what we would recommend, definitely. But that's the point of this. We watched a little bit of crap, maybe not 3 hours of that, but you experience these things that maybe don't get talked about a lot, especially because Disney had a hand in that. We'd like to thank you very much for dealing with us for 9 consecutive weeks. Well, we watch Lynchpin, every David Lynch film in chronological order, or at least 8.5 out of 10 of them. We have about a month of single podcasts coming out before we start our next big series in October. I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna watch other things, grosser things. I'm excited. I want to calm down and watch something that I know is gonna go into my eyeballs.